Hello, good morning. My name is Matthew from the National Exercise Referral Scheme here in Neath, Port Talbot. I'm going to take you through a home exercise plan here from sunny Carmarthen this morning. Make sure you got a nice open area with plenty of space. You don't need any equipment for this. However, I do have a step. You don't need a step, I'll talk you through that later. You also have some light weights. If you don't have any weights at home, use a couple of tins from the store cupboard or a couple of water bottles. The more water you put in there, the heavier it's going to be. And yeah, so I want you to sort of pace yourself. I'm going to talk to you about rate of perceived exertion, so RPE. We're going to gradually build up. So through the warm up, we're going to start building our levels. So RPE 10 would be the maximum when you wouldn't be able to exercise anymore. 1 would be quite easy and you could keep going forever and ever. So we're going to look to get up to an RPE of between 4 to 6. That means you'll be breathing heavily but able to hold a conversation throughout. Okay, let's go. Okay, we're going to start with a minute of a march. It's a nice little build up, getting the blood flowing for our warm up. Keep looking at my stopwatch throughout just so I've got the timings right. So we're going to warm up for approximately 5 to 6 minutes. Our circuit is going to consist of 1 minute of exercise and then 30 seconds recovery. And we're going to do 10 exercises. So the whole circuit should take between 25 to 30 minutes. Okay, just relax the feet. We're just going to bend the elbows. So throughout this little warm-up, we're going to mimic the exercises that we're going to do throughout the circuit. Start to feel yourself getting nice and warm as the blood starts to pump around the body. Okay, I'm just going to take a nice little step side to side. Remember, as you start to warm up, feel free to have a drink at any time. Keep a nice bottle of water close by. Okay, relax the feet again. Now, hold your hands down in front of you. You're going to do an upright row, so we're going to bring the hands up through the body, keeping the elbows high and wide, as if you're zipping up your top with both hands, or as if you're picking up a heavy bag in front of you. So we're working the big muscles at the top of the back. Good, okay, keeping our feet nice and wide. Just going to have a little bend of the knees. As if you're sitting back onto a chair, keeping the feet nice and flat. Sticking your bum backwards. Excellent, okay, bring your feet in again. So nice and relaxed, we're going to pretend we're holding a ball. We're going to take our arms forward, back into the chest, above the head and back down. And we're going to repeat that motion as we mobilise our joints around the shoulder and the elbow. Okay, we're going to take a small little step forward now. So a little lunge, not too far, keeping both knees nice and soft as we're taking a step forward. Make sure you're only going as far as you're comfortable going. Doesn't matter if it's a small little step, just warming the muscles and joints up before the main component of the circuit. Okay, we just take our arms out to the side. Make sure I don't take any of the plants out. Just going to come up onto our tiptoes now, so if you're going to test your balance slightly, feel free to use a chair or some support in front of you as you bring the heels off the ground. You're going to feel those calf muscles working to control us as we're propelling upwards. Okay, we're just going to finish off with a march before we start our main component, the 10 exercises of the circuit. Okay, good. Have a little shake off. Feel free to have a drink of water if you need to. As I said, we're going to be working a minute on, and then we're going to have 30 seconds recovery in between each exercise. So we've got 15 minutes ahead of us before our cool down. At this point we should be feeling nice and warm and ready to go, so on the RPE scale around about 3 to 4. Okay, so our first exercise is a march. We should be feeling quite warm now, so we're going to bring those knees nice and high. We're going to bring our arms into it. Again, make sure you go in at your level, at your own pace. So we're going to start to become quite breathless, but as I said in the warm-up, you still need to be able to hold a conversation. If you're struggling to hold a conversation, I don't think you'd be able to. Just make it a little bit easier. Don't take your knees so high, don't use your arms so much. Keep it going. Nice and light on the toes if you can. Okay, our second exercise is a bicep curl. I've got my hand weights here. We're just going to keep the elbows into the side, bringing the hands up towards our shoulders, and repeat that motion. To make this exercise easier, you don't have to use any hand weights. You just tap the shoulders, keeping your elbows tucked into the side. And to make it harder, you can use heavier weights. Again, if you don't have weights at home, feel free to use any tins or cans or water bottles that you may have at home. This exercise is working the big bicep femoris muscle, top of the arm. Next exercise is a lunge forward or a forward step. You're going a nice stride forward with nice soft knees. Taking our back leg towards the ground but not touching. And a nice upright posture looking forward if you can. If you find this is difficult on the knee or due to balance, feel free to take a smaller little step, transferring your weight forward and then pushing back. Alternating each leg. To make this exercise more difficult, feel free to use your hand weights or the tins or bottle of water just to add a little bit more weight to make the exercise a little more difficult. Now we have an upright row, so very much like we've done in the warm-up. Starting with our hands down in front of us, palms facing inwards. We're going to lift our hands up, making sure our elbows are always higher than our wrists. The exercise is going to mimic zipping up our top or picking up a bag in front of us. We're working the big trapezius muscles at the top of the back. Same as the other exercises, make the exercise harder by using a heavier weight, or easier by not using any weight and just mobilising the joints. Next exercise is sit to stand. So you're going to need a nice stable chair with a little bit of space. So simply sitting down on the chair, using the force of our muscles to propel us upwards, and then nice and slowly and controlled sitting back down. If you find this too difficult at first, just a small little bend of the knees and a squat backwards. Again, to make it more difficult, you may use weights in your hand, or just squat so you're touching the top of the chair and come back up. This is looking to strengthen the big muscles at the top of our legs, which are very functional. Our next exercise is a wall press, or will be like a press up against the wall, working these chest muscles. A nice stable surface, arms shoulder width apart. And then lean forwards, getting nice and close to the wall, and using your arms to push you back. So nice and controlled, not too fast. To make this exercise easier, the closer you are to the wall, the more stability you have and the less you have to push. To make it more difficult, move away from the wall, move your hands further down the wall, and it becomes a harder exercise. Next exercise is step up. So again, very functional if you live in a home with stairs. I understand not everyone will have a step at home, so feel free to use the bottom step of your staircase. Also, just by putting a cushion or something on the floor, you may use that just to get your knees nice and high, and that will progress as the step gets a little bit higher. Okay, so as we're doing it, we're looking to get a nice firm base, lead up with one leg, and then we're alternating each leg as we go up. If you struggle with any balance, feel free to have some support next to you, or to do it facing the wall so you've got something in front of you to hold on to. Next exercise is shoulder press. So back with our hand weights. Again, feel free not to use the weights if you don't require them. Nice and parallel with each other. We're looking to stabilise our shoulder blades. Then a nice push up, controlled movement back down to the starting position at the shoulder. So rather than speed, we're looking for control on this exercise. We're looking to stabilise the shoulder blade at the back. Up and down. So I wouldn't recommend going too heavy on a weight this time for this exercise. It's more about control, getting in a nice wide position and then a nice W position, which allows us to stabilise the scapula. Next exercise is the calf raise, taking our weight up onto our tiptoes, very similar to what we did in the warm-up. Again, this is going to test your balance, so feel free to have support either to the side of you or in front of you. To make this exercise harder, again just hold some weights in your hand to add a little bit more weight as you're pushing up against gravity. But towards the end of a minute of doing this, we start to feel those calf muscles starting to burn as they fatigue. But again, another very functional exercise which will improve the strength in your legs. The last exercise is a bit of shadow boxing. So we're just going to get the arms going. Alternating arms, nice and light on our feet. Getting that blood pumping before we start our cool down. So making sure we stay in between an RP of 4 to 6. We find we're getting a bit too out of breath doing this one. Just slow it down a little bit. As well as working our whole body here, moving our feet slightly, moving our arms. The main benefit, that's getting us up to breath, working our lungs and heart, pumping that blood around the body. Okay, those are our 10 exercises, 15 minutes work. We're now going to finish with 5 minutes cool down, just to bring our breathing back to normal, to get our oxygen levels back to normal and to stretch our muscles out. Okay, we're going to do one exercise standing before sitting for the remainder. First exercise, I'm going to lean onto a solid object, whether it's a wall or a chair. I'm going to take one step backwards, keep that leg straight, bend the front knee. I'm going to push that back heel down towards the ground, feeling the stretch in the bottom of the calf. Hold it there for 10 to 15 seconds. And then alternate leg. So opposite leg back behind, bend that front knee, push the back heel down. Same again, hold it for 10 to 15 seconds. Give the muscle enough time to stretch back out. And relax. Okay, we're going to sit down for the remainder of the cool down. So take a seat on a steady chair. Shuffle your bum forward so we've got enough room to move our legs later on. Sit nice and tall, shoulders back and relaxed. First of all, we're going to tuck our chin into the chest. Feel a stretch down the back of the neck. It's a good chance for us to take some nice deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth, and get the oxygen back into our lungs, into the working muscles. Okay, next we're just going to take a little look up to the sky. Center, look over one shoulder. across to the opposite side. To the centre. This time we're going to bend our neck one way. Just taking our ear down towards the shoulder and stretching the opposite side of the neck. Getting back to the centre and down to the opposite side. We're going to interlock our fingers now. A nice stretch forward. Now we're going to take the hands behind the back, squeeze the shoulder blade, lift the chest. Nice big deep breaths, feeling those muscles around the ribs stretching out. Good. Relax the arms. Going to take one arm directly up into the sky, bend at the elbow, just add a little bit of support, walk the fingertips down the back, stretching this big tricep muscle at the back of the arm. Up to the air, drop the opposite arm, just a little stretch over to the side, stretching the muscles down the side of the trunk. Back to the centre. Same on the opposite arm, so nice straight arm up, bend at the elbow, walk the fingertips down, use the opposite arm to support that arm in the air. Feel the stretch of the muscle behind the arm. Straight into the air, drop the opposite arm, have a little bend over to the side. Give that back to the centre. Okay, we're just going to bring the elbows into the side, palms facing up. A little movement from side to side. Pretending you're passing a tray to the person next to you. Final stretch, we're going to take one heel forward, nice straight leg. You can either relax the toes, and that will stretch the hamstring muscle, or bring the toes back towards you, and that'll be stretching the nerve at the back of the leg. Sit nice and tall, lean forwards into it until you feel that stretch down that back of the leg and hold it there. Again, 10 to 15 seconds. Allow the stretch to take hold. Gently come out of the stretch. Same on the opposite side. Toes back towards you. You're just going to lean forward slightly again. Feel that stretch. And relax a little bit. Okay, that's the end of our home exercise circuit today. I hope you enjoyed. And I'll see you again soon in class. Thank you.